the episode as we lead into the upcoming and highly anticipated clash between Katie Taylor and Chantelle Cameron. I thought I'd do things a little differently this week and focus on women in the ring. So let's start off with some upcoming fights featuring young ladies. As we all know, out in California, Infinity Reality Studios, formerly known as Thunder Studios, will be the home of a new blood boxing fight scheduled for December 9th. The main event will feature a featherweight clash between WBO and ABO featherweight champ Brandon Benitez, who's 22. He'll be fighting Rigoberto Hermosillo. But also on that card will be WBC interim female super flyweight champ Adelia Ruiz, who's 14-1, and she's facing an opponent to be named later. But rounding out this stellar event, super featherweight Georgia Costa will fight against Richard Medina. So a great night of fights, one featuring a couple of known women out on the West Coast. We hope you'll join those fellas out there and the women who are fighting that night. And we look forward to getting those results. Also, I see this Friday in Buenos Aires, Valencia Lopez, 8-0, undefeated, will make her first defense of her light flyweight title down in Argentina. Her rival will be the experienced Deborah Gomez. And on that same evening, there will be Fatima Medina's pro debut against Nalia Peluso. Some good stuff out of Argentina. As I said, as we head towards that Cameron Taylor fight on that undercard, there are a couple of other women fighting, and this will be a doozy. Former world title challenger Lucy Wildheart makes her long-awaited return to the ring, and it's a straight back into world title action when she challenges WBC interim world featherweight champ Skye Nicholson. This story comes courtesy of ringnews24.com. Wildheart has a record of 10-2 with 4 knockouts, and she's going to be facing the unbeaten Australian 8-0 Skye Nicholson on that undercard of Matchroom Boxing's blockbuster show on the 25th of November, being held at 3 Arena in Dublin. And the 30-year-old Wildheart from Sweden, now fighting out of Essex, UK, is rated number 3 by the WBC and has been targeting a showdown with the newly crowned champ Nicholson, who won that title by beating Sabrina Perez on points in Tijuana, Mexico just last month. You might recall Wildheart accepted without hesitation a late-minute call to face American star Michaela Mayer for the vacant WBC interim world lightweight championship when Mayer's original opponent, Christina Leonardatu, was not cleared by the BBBOC. So with just 48 hours notice for a fight to be held at the Copper Box Arena in London and 2 weight divisions above her natural featherweight class, Wildheart put on a valiant performance and extended the bigger and heavier punching Mayer to the full distance, 10 rounds, to lose only by the judges' scorecard. So now she's set to face Nicholson. She's being trained by Sam Mullins at Churchill's Gym in London. And she's thrilled with her opportunity. And she said, "This is the moment I've waited patiently for all my career, to be challenging for the world title in my weight division." She thanks Matchroom for the opportunity to fight for a major promotion, surrounded by other ladies who have already made history and continue to do so. The atmosphere on the night, she said, is going to be surreal, and I'm grateful to be part of this huge night to further grow women's boxing even more. Wildheart's manager, Richard Maynard, CEO of Strike Sports Management, said, "Lucy has craved a fight with Skye for a very long time, and I'm delighted to have concluded the deal swiftly with Matchroom to get her this opportunity." It's a magnificent stage for Lucy to showcase herself on a huge show in Dublin, live on DAZN, one of the biggest shows of the year, the Taylor Cameron card. Skye's a quality fighter, and we're not underestimating her. It's all there for Lucy to take. She has the experience. All right. It's going to be a great fight, great night. We'd love to be there in Dublin with all my fight fans, including Carl Whittleson from Last Bell Boxing. Other news from the UK, Lauren Price is set to battle Sylvia Berthaud on the undercard of a fight between Chris Billum-Smith and Matthews Mastermack. That takes place on December 10th, live on Sky Sports. It'll also feature one of our favorites, Ben Whitaker, and Francesca Hennessy and Lee Cutler also appearing on the undercard, taking place in Bournemouth, Saturday, December 10th. Also, if you're interested in the history of women's boxing in the UK, I've included a link on the YouTube description down below. Click it, take a look at the battles of Jane Couch. Speaking of battles, I want to bring to your attention out of India, a female boxer by the name of Jaismine Lamboria, specifically her route through the Asian Games last month, which ended for her in the quarterfinals with the referee stopping the contest. But what I wanted to mention is the fighters from Asia, because I didn't realize that women's boxing was not only popular in Dublin and the UK and across the United States and throughout North America and Mexico and Argentina and many other countries that I've mentioned just a few moments ago. But she lost to Won Yonggong out of North Korea, and lost but she couldn't defend herself in the second round and lost the bout by the referee's decision, as I said. Anyway, she was fighting on behalf of India, as I said, at the Asian Games. And in order to get to where she got to in the quarterfinals, she had to beat Uzbekistan's Satora Turdibevkova in one of her bouts. She also stormed into semifinals. Other fighters won against fighters from, let's have a quick look here, another Indian fighter, a fighter from Iran, fighter from Kazakhstan, fighter from Uzbekistan, and I believe this all took place, this event actually took place in China. So right across Asia, we're seeing women's boxing really take a strong foothold and make an impression on the fans, I'm sure, in those various countries. Fantastic stuff. But interestingly enough, out of Papua New Guinea, I didn't realize female boxing was quite as popular as it was. And the more I dig into it this week, the more I'm realizing that we boxing fans need to appreciate what's going on around the world and has been going on around the world for quite some time, including the previously mentioned Katie Taylor, who, when the Olympics finally recognized women's boxing in 2012, won that gold medal in 2012. Wow. What's that, 11 odd years ago, I suppose? No, more than that, maybe. Yeah, 11 years ago. Anyway, out of Papua New Guinea, we see that they have a team that would like to compete in the Pacific Games. And currently, if you Google that, Papua New Guinea's female boxing team, they're looking for a little bit of dough, maybe a sponsor or two to help them get over to the games. One of their fighters, a 20-year-old from Port Moresby, Loranda Kidu, says, I'm aiming to bring back a gold medal for my country. And she's part of a 9-women team on the Papua New Guinea boxing team and earned selection from local competitions, including the national championships, which were held back in April. Their team is aiming to send all athletes to the Solomon Islands for the Pacific Games. But a big challenge remains, they admit. They don't have a major sponsor to assist in covering airfares, accommodation, and logistics. Their national team coach, Mark Quito, said, the relentless commitment portrayed by these lassies shows how important the championship means to them individually. I don't want to see any one of them missing out. The women are mostly between the ages of 16 and 30 and are either unemployed or studying, with only a handful employed, in fact. Quito is thankful that her family is very supportive of her sporting career. I love boxing, but it's quite challenging to be fully equipped. But thankfully, my dad provides for me, she said. So as I say, boxing around the world, and there's a story out of Papua New Guinea. Let's turn our attention to a young lady making an impression for her battles, not only in the ring, but out of the ring. Yokasta Valle, who recently beat, who did she beat? Annabelle Ortiz, sorry about that. She beat Annabelle Ortiz, the IBF WBO minimum weight champ. defended her crown by defeating the Mexican Ortiz by unanimous decision. I believe that was earlier this month, going the full 10 rounds. Yokasta won by scores of 190, 9992, 9991. A very complicated victory, she admits, because Annabelle is a very dirty fighter who comes in with her head. So I appreciate the support of my people. I hope after the fight, she says, I hope to fight her again soon, but this time for the Undisputed Championship. But what I want to talk about specifically is her campaign called Knock Out Hate in collaboration with the United Nations. Yokasta has suffered discrimination for both being a woman in a male-dominated sport and as a migrant who journeyed to Costa Rica from Nicaragua. Many of my colleagues told me that if they as men could not become champions, even less so I as a woman could. There's nothing that women cannot do. I always tell the girls, take those speeches of hate and discrimination as fuel to achieve your goals and show the world that our capabilities are limitless. I started boxing when I was 13 years old, she said, and there were always people who told me, you're never going to make it. But those words just served as fuel for me to say, okay, I'm going to show you otherwise. And she made good on that pledge, becoming the world boxing champion at 105 pounds in both international IBF and WBO organizations. Yokasta Valle is one of the best athletes in the history of Costa Rica, and for the UN, it is an honor to work with a woman who has overcome great challenges from adopting her life in a new country as a child to facing discrimination and exclusion at different times in her life. Zalegra Bocci, the United Nations resident coordinator in that country. As part of her advocacy against discrimination and hate speech, Yokasta met recently with United Nations Special Advisor on the Prevention of Genocide, Alice Netritu, who declares Yokasta Valle is not only a boxer in the ring, but also a fighter for human rights. Well done, Yokasta. What I want to mention and close out the show was that around the world, we see that even in Saudi Arabia, says this headline, pulling no punches. Right? Saudi women boxer breaks exercise taboo. She's been doing it a while out of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, throwing punches in a gym tucked away from prying eyes. A Saudi female boxing trainer asserts a right long denied to many women in the conservative kingdom, the right to exercise. Halah Alhamrani runs a gym for women called FlagBoxing. His motto is "Fight Like a Girl." As I said, out of the Red Sea city of Jeddah, offering fitness classes to women and relying on word-of-mouth publicity in a country where exercising in public is culturally deemed unbecoming for women. Alhamrani is working to empower a generation with little to no exposure for sports. She says, on a daily basis, women never done sports walk into my class, some with their mothers who opened that gym in 2016. They walk out more confident. Many find their voice. The mothers approach me and say, thank you for offering such an empowering feeling. At first blush, the gym screams California, not Saudi Arabia, says this article in WIONnews.com. Some of them crumple up in their gowns and toss them into a locker. They sweat it out over thumping music. And around 130 women, including Saudis, but also other Arabs, share a sense of camaraderie while in the gym. And many of them read on that whiteboard, I can't wait to come back. Very good. Good stuff out of Saudi Arabia. Good stuff from around the world. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm going to see you later on when I join Mike Core for his show, Knuckle Up, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And you'll see me again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, again, for another episode of Boxing News Today. Thank you.